I wake up to the same old fight, chasing shadows in the night. Promises made, but I let them fade. Caught in the cycle, I'm feeling betrayed. Round and round, I'm losing ground. Trying to break free, but I can't see. These negative patterns are haunting me. Nights turn to days, I'm losing my way. Thought I found peace, but it's led me astray. Chasing the high, but it only brings pain. The more I run, the less I gain.
Hey everybody, hey, and welcome to another session of Tarika Say It Again. And here we are back another week dealing with relationships. Those addictive patterns. Are you tired? Tired of the way he treats me. Tired of the guilty feelings. Tired of the broken dreams. I'm tired of the public scenes. I'm tired of the baby mama. Tired of the ghetto drama. Now y'all know that was your girl Kelly Price. Tired of the back and forth, the roller coaster, round and round. So today specifically we're going to deal with closure, because a lot of people wait on closure to be done with the relationship. And we know when we talk about closure in a relationship, it's the emotional understanding or acceptance that allows a person to move forward after a relationship ends. It doesn't always come from the other person. A lot of times we want to, have that sit down. I want to hear him tell me, or I want her to tell me that it's over, that we're done. No. Many times it comes from personal reflection and acceptance of what happened. And in my book, I have actual self-reflection sheets in my book so that you can write down, see if you've been guilty of these things, or see if you actually take part in these things, whether positive or negative, because I'm going to always give you both. We're not one-sided over here. Closure, it helps people process their emotions. That's vitally important. Being able to figure out what's going on. Being able to actually speak and talk about, express those feelings or those emotions. Acknowledge those lessons learned and release the attachment to once was. We got to let it go sometimes. Often people believe closure requires, as we know, that final conversation I just mentioned. We want that person to apologize for us. No, sorry, sometimes you have to move on without the apology or the explanation from whomever that person or your partner was. Now, in my relationship, there was no need for closure, but that's me. There was no need for closure. You know what was the closure? The disrespect. Yeah, you heard me. The disrespect was enough for me. That was my closure. Now, while that can help, hearing from the partner, them apologizing, having that last conversation with that person, it can help, but it isn't always possible and is not always healthy. True closure usually happens when an individual accepts the reality of the situation. That can be your closure. Also, when the person understands that the relationship has run its course and chooses peace over lingering questions or maybe resentment. And you all know just last week we were talking about resentment and how you may feel when we talk about bitterness. And tying this into my book, Addictive Patterns, I'm going to always do my research now. So in some relationships, people become addicted to the cycle, all right, rather than the person. And I'm going to say it again. Some relationships, people become addicted to the cycle, that rat race, that back and forth, rather than the person. the highs of the love, the attention, the reconciliation. And that could feel powerful, right? The saying, make up the breakup. You also know the lows, that disrespect, that distance, or that betrayal, that feeling. This kind of is like the push and pull dynamic that I was telling you all about 2 weeks ago, where it keeps individual hoping for the good moments, trying to return, get back to where we were, where we used to be. I call it the emotional roller coaster. And at the age I'm at, get me off this damn ride. Get me off the emotional roller coaster. I don't want no parts. But because of these patterns that we are sometimes used to or attached to, people often believe they need closure from the other person, when in reality, they need awareness, being aware of what's going on, and the healing from the pattern itself. You heard me. From the pattern itself. Closure is also about growth. It allows a person to reflect on the relationship. Now, that's the good as well as the bad, or the healthy as well as the unhealthy patterns, so they can move forward with greater self-awareness. That's simply just doing the emotional work, the work of healing, instead of holding on to that bitterness or the what ifs. What if I did things differently? What if I showed a little bit more support? What if I didn't have a flip mouth? Just what if? Closure also creates space for this healing that I mentioned. Personal development, yes, personal development and growth, and healthier relationships. So closure is needed, but it's how you're getting the closure. How are you receiving the closure? Or are you going to put it on hold because you haven't gotten it in the form in which you were looking for? Are you going to put off your healing again because you haven't gotten it in the form in which you were looking for? So definitely closure is necessary, is needed for your healing, your development, and simply for healthier relationships in the future. Basically, once a person understands their role in tolerating, chasing, or repeating those unhealthy dynamics, they can create their own closure and move forward in a healthier way. In many ways, closure is less about ending the story with someone else and more about beginning a new chapter within yourself. You got to do the work, y'all. And sometimes it's internally. No, let me correct that. Most of the time is internally. How you feel, how you think, your perception, those inner virtues. That's what's important. Having that high self-esteem, that self-worth, that confidence. If you got a good relationship with yourself and you like yourself, and love, not only like, but love yourself, then you can have a happy and healthy relationship with the next person. That's it, y'all. Closure. That was the topic for today's session. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Have a good one.